Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Friday. It is the 26th day of March. We are cruising right through this month. Today is National Epilepsy Awareness Day. It is National Nougat Day. And it's National Spinach Day. Now, I remember when I was a kid, Popeye the Sailor Man would eat spinach, and it would make him really strong. You know why that was?
Why?
They had a miscalculation. There was a decimal point that was moved one place over too far. So they used to think spinach was actually 10 times better for you than it really was. So
It's still really good for you.
It is. It's good for you. And I actually, when I was a kid, I didn't like spinach because I just didn't think I would like spinach. We make a spinach salad. We use that all the time.
I use fresh spinach a lot.
It's good. I do
And
like
I
it.
use spinach, I like baby spinach, fresh spinach in recipes
good.
all the time. I do. I love
So
it.
today's a good day to celebrate National Spinach Day. And I've got a guest for a hashtag comedy call. I have Nate Bargetzee, very funny comedian. A lot of really cool things we're going to chat about. He's got a new special coming out. I think it actually just came out on Netflix. We'll chat all about that in a bit.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. A new study shows that wounds could heal more quickly by stimulating blood vessels with electricity to carry white blood cells and oxygen to wound sites. The study done at Ohio State University found that steady electrical stimulation generates increased permeation across blood vessels. That would provide new insight into ways new blood vessels might grow.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure how much electricity we're talking about, so I think you should check the study before you just start zapping
Yeah,
people.
don't just start doing it to yourself.
Could be a bad idea. Could be a terrible idea. And a new study shows the pandemic slowed the reading progress of younger children. And the sad thing is there was already an issue before the pandemic. And now it's gotten even worse. So be careful out there. If you've got kiddos, one of the things I encourage people to do is read to your children. If you read to them and you're training them at a very young age, then they'll want to read because it's like part of their life. So it's really, really
Both of our
important.
kids loved to read.
Absolutely.
And when I read, I would put my finger on each word so as they were watching me, they would see these words and they learned them very
I
quickly.
still
Our
do
son
that
was
even-
reading, Troy was reading when he was 4.
Yeah, I still do that, but it's because I need the help. So surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com.
Do you have a credit card? We'd like to help you get a better credit card. If you don't have any credit cards, we'd like to help you too. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Some cards offer points. Some cards are designed to help you build your credit. Bettercreditcards.com wants to help you get a better credit card, no matter what you're looking for. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by timeforrehab.com. A Florida man is accused of sitting naked in a chair outside an apartment complex. Irving Edward Howard, age 71, Fort Myers, also known as Baby Cakes, was arrested.
As baby cakes.
Charged with 4 counts of lewd and lascivious, how do you say that word? Lascivious?
I don't
behavior?
know. I've never been accused of that one.
Thank goodness. And 1 count of indecent exposure and 1 count of disorderly intoxication. Says here that he this wasn't his first time. He's done this before. According to records, in 2019, he was arrested. Taxpayers spent $300,000 for him to spend more than 6,000 nights in jail from April 2019 through August 2019. He spent 134 nights in jail during that time frame. He's been arrested 12 times since August of 2019, including 2 times for indecent exposure, 3 times for trespassing. According to this, back all the way as far as 1988, they have all kinds of records of him doing all kinds of things. So he's now scheduled to appear April the 12th in court, and I hope he shows up with clothes on, because it sounds to me like he likes to go out without them. So, and he likes to get a little liquored up and have fun. Bad idea, man. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by channelsurfertv.com. Beyonce's daughter has now won a Grammy for appearing in her mother's music video. So it's kind of cool. There's people online that are super excited. Other people that are really angry about this for some reason.
How do you win a Grammy for just being in a
She was in the
music
video.
Was she singing?
I don't know. But it's amazing to me how split the world is on this particular topic. You know what? It does not affect my life at all. So we're going to move on to the next story. Alex Rodriguez, also known as A-Rod. I think I said all of that wrong.
Rodriguez.
I promise I am not drinking right now. Alex Rodriguez, there we go, is denying reports that he and Jennifer Lopez, also known as J-Lo, broke up. According to the story, they broke up, but he's saying now that's not true. The couple share a $35 million mansion in Miami. It's quite a mansion. And Kourtney Kardashian has revealed she froze her eggs in case she wanted to have another baby. And that's the end of that story. And then ESPN broadcaster in Colombia is okay after a wall crashed down on him during a soccer show.
Oh, yikes.
Holy cow. Big screen, little screen, brought to you by channelsurfertv.com.
At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all the fun holidays throughout the year with fun, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we've got a gift for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way courtesy of RedCrossBlood.org. April 15th is not the most dreaded day of the year. According to a survey of 1,000 people, they found more people, 33% more, dread visiting the dentist or the doctor more than tax day. Only 15% said they hated April 15th. That's tax day.
Sure.
Once again, by the way, this year the IRS has pushed back the filing deadline. In 2021, it's not April 15th. It is, in fact, May 17th.
Okay.
So that's the date that some people will hate this year. When your mind draws a blank, it probably means you are under stress, according to a new study. It seems that stress plays an important role in how well our powers of observation and recall interact with one another. Stressful situations like exams, courtroom testimony, and job interviews can all affect our memory. So, have you ever felt like your brain doesn't work as well when you're stressed out?
Oh, yeah.
For me, I almost feel like it's the opposite. I feel like when I'm stressed out, my brain kicks into like high gear. It's going, okay, we need to get out of this situation. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. Okay, I know I'm weird, but I don't know. It just seems different to me than what that study just said.
No, when I panic, well, I guess it depends. I know you and I both work better under pressure.
Yeah, so I was going to say.
When we're under pressure, we get things done.
We definitely do.
But at the end of it, you're exhausted because it was stressful.
I'm not saying I'm not exhausted. I'm just saying. And it really is one of the great debates. What is the right way to put toilet paper on the toilet paper roll?
Over.
Now, I got to say really quickly here, my beautiful bride, Heidi, and I have been married 21 years.
Yes.
When we first met, I was an under guy. You were an over girl.
And you do it wrong.
And we did that for how many years? Probably 10 at least?
Yes. And I would always have to switch it back every time you did it improperly.
Finally, I went to Facebook, I don't know, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. And I asked on Facebook, which way is the right way? And I said, and we agreed ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Whatever wins this debate, we're going to go. And I've been an over guy ever since. And I'll tell you, it's been hard to get used to, but I'm used to it now. As a matter of fact, we were at a hotel not too long ago where they had it the wrong way, and it was driving me crazy.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And just so you know, the patent for the toilet paper holder shows the toilet paper going over.
I've heard all of those.
Debate over.
Research shows you use less toilet paper when you drape the end over the top, so that's an over, simply because it's easier to see. You also don't have to reach as far to grab the paper.
Right.
Also, it's more sanitary to pull from the front since you're not touching the wall and leaving germs as you would pulling from the back.
See, there you go.
And finally, the biggie is, it says, and this is funny because it says, the biggie is hotels do it over and they can't be wrong. Well, we were just at a hotel and they did do it wrong.
They did.
If the over-under is a debate that you guys have in your household, let me tell you, just get on the same page. And it doesn't have to be the one that we're on. Whichever one is, it's going to make your life easier. Because for us, I would literally flip it, and then Heidi would flip it, and I would flip it, and she'd flip it.
I'll flip it at other people's houses. I'm not even kidding. I'll go into your house. If it's the wrong way, I will change it while I'm in
Fix
there.
that for you. All right.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is a great quote from Benjamin Franklin. At InsuranceChicken.com, we know a thing or two about great quotes. We help people get great insurance quotes every day. It's super simple and free to find out if we can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but I can assure you we'd love to help at InsuranceChicken.com. We want to help you pack out great deals on insurance. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. We have a hashtag comedy call with very funny comedian Nate Bargetzee. He's got another Netflix special out. He had another one a couple years ago. His newest one is called The Greatest Average American. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm living it up, having fun. Yeah. Excited, a little nervous, but also excited for the special to come out.
Well, congrats on this special. Just came out about a week ago, and you've got another special that was out back in 2019, The Tennessee Kid, but there's a huge difference between the two, partially because of COVID, right?
Oh, yeah. The first one was shot in a theater, and obviously the normal way that we all live. This one, the lead up to it, because normally you do a lot of dates. So, I was going to have 100 dates planned this year, and you do 100 shows. I mean, you're to really get this material tried out, that kind of way. And in this one, we had to switch it up. I did a bunch of drive-in movie theater dates and shows like that to lead up to this special. We taped the special outside. Everybody had to be tested. So it was such a different thing going into it.
COVID was tough for everybody in 2020, but it was really tough for people who get on a stage and perform, like musicians and comedians.
Yeah. I mean, stand-up comedy is probably the one form of entertainment that's like COVID was thrived in. Like it's just indoors, close, and talking, laughing. It's not the best thing for COVID or anything. So it was a unique time, and now, we would do drive-in shows. Like people stay in their cars, that's like how to do it. Which those were very interesting to get used to because you can't hear the crowd, you can't see them. I mean, all you see is the hood of a Honda Accord when you tell a joke.
So how different is that then when you're performing that way? Because you don't necessarily see their faces, you don't hear them laughing. Do they like flash their lights or honk their horns, or how does that work?
Sometimes they would sit out front of their cars, and then other times where. They would. Some would honk. They would flash their headlights or honk, and they would be like beep 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 beep. And that, it's funny. That was actually not bad. I thought it would be bad. Like if you had told me before, like, hey, they're going to honk, I would have been like, do not honk. That seems like that's not going to work at all. But it kind of worked. You just realize that all you really need is a response. That's what you wanted, and so they were able to do it. And it was fun to get out. That was like during the summer. That was everybody wanted to get out at the house, and so it was nice to get to go do something. And
I'm looking through here. There's something kind of cool. You were the first comedian to have a set on any of the late night shows during COVID. You taped a show in 2020 for Jimmy Fallon for The Tonight Show. How different was that compared to other visits to The Tonight Show?
Well, so this one we had to shoot at a comedy club. That was like at half capacity, and then we gave it to The Tonight Show and shot it. So that's the most different for me. Normally you'd go to the studio and do it there. And so, I knew that, like, with the Tonight Show, when I was talking to them about it, they were talking about bringing, doing comedy again. And they actually just did it in the studio. Because a friend of mine, Mike Vecchione, very funny comic, he just did his, and they just had the first comic. So when back in the studio with an audience. And so, it's just so much different. I mean, it was nice to get to perform. I did it at a comedy club with, like, half capacity. So it was nice to not have to perform to no crowd. But the way it was shot was just completely the opposite that I've done.
Now we got to get back to your new special, The Greatest Average American. It's available on Netflix right now. Folks are loving this already, but for people that haven't yet had a chance to see it, what would you kind of give them as like a little teaser to know what they're going to see?
I talk about COVID a little bit at the beginning, just make some jokes on that, some stuff that I did on some of the Tonight Show clips. And then just a lot about my family. I'm 41. About to be 42. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and my wife, and so a lot of stories with that, and just talk about where I'm at in my life right now, and that's just trying to be funny, just trying to make dumb jokes, have a good time. That's always the ultimate goal of doing it, and so you hope that it comes off like that, and and it's interesting to just see it this way. I mean, we shot it outside. We had some stuff happen because we were outside that we left in the special, and so it was fun. I'm excited. Like I said, excited and nervous about it.
That's awesome. Nate, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it, bud.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Again, our guest today has been Nate Bargetzee, and his new comedy special is on Netflix now. It's The Greatest Average American. I've got a link to all the info in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Fingernails do not grow after you die. Despite what you might have seen or heard on all kinds of random trivia lists that are wrong, your fingernails and hair do not, in fact, continue to grow after you die. To grow, they must have a steady supply of glucose, which is cut off after your heart stops beating, preventing any further growth. In fact, the skin around the hair follicles and nails dehydrate after death and partly retracts, which kind of makes them look like they've grown. But they don't grow. It's the skin pulling back.
All right, that makes sense.
There you go. Now you know. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a credit card? We'd like to help you get a better credit card. If you don't have any credit cards, we'd like to help you too. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Some cards offer points. Some cards are designed to help you build your credit. Bettercreditcards.com wants to help you get a better credit card, no matter what you're looking for. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline Australia. Climate protesters in South Australia blocked traffic by not just sitting on the road, but by super gluing themselves to the road.
Wow.
How in the world would you get up off that road after the fact?
I guess that's probably going to be the responsibility of taxpayers and the government to make sure that that's paid for.
Yeah, I have no idea. But the climate protesters, they blocked traffic by super gluing themselves to the road in Australia. I've got a link to the story if you want to read all the details. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all the fun holidays throughout the year with fun, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we've got a gift for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Time now for some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. German police say they've solved a 9-year-old burglary after DNA was found on a half-eaten piece of sausage. And that DNA matched the man detained in France on an unrelated crime.
Really?
Yeah, police in the western town of Schmeln? I don't know how you say it. It's in Germany. Thursday, they said a sausage that belonged to the victim, the suspect, a 30-year-old Albanian, appeared to take a bite of it during the March 2012 break-in. And they had the victim's DNA, but they had this other DNA that they didn't know who it belonged to.
That's awesome. I love this kind of stuff.
And they have that in a database, and all of a sudden, bing, here we are years later, and they find out, oh, hey, that's the guy. That's the guy from this burglary from way back then. So, interesting stuff.
I love forensics.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
It really is. And that is today's Weird News, brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for your moment of duh, brought to you by RedCrossBlood.org. An accused murderer was mistakenly released from Rikers Island prison because of a clerical error. 26-year-old Christopher Buggs awaiting trial for a 2018 attempt a murder charge, which was an unrelated crime that he was actually serving time for. That one was done. So when it was done, they actually let him go, even though he was awaiting trial for another crime.
Really?
Didn't mean to. It was a clerical error. It says, we are aware of this incident. Full investigation of how it happened is underway. Right now, we're working with our law enforcement partners to return the individual into custody. He's 5'5", 160, has a dollar sign tattooed on his neck. He was arrested back in February of 2018 in connection to the murder. And anyway, he was serving time for another crime. And like I said, that time is served, but he was waiting trial for this other thing. So it's like now they're going, okay, well, we got to go find him now. So that's
yikes.
Somebody's probably in trouble.
Hopefully they find him.
They will. It is today's moment of duh.
Early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is a great quote from Benjamin Franklin. At InsuranceChicken.com, we know a thing or two about great quotes. We help people get great insurance quotes every day. It's super simple and free to find out if we can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but I can assure you we'd love to help at InsuranceChicken.com. We want to help you pack out great deals on insurance. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for Is It a Golf Course or Is It a Rehab Center? Brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. Heidi, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Fox Run, Council Bluffs, Iowa. Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center?
Golf course.
Fox Run, Council Bluffs, Iowa is a golf course. Good job, Heidi. Golf
Thank
club
you.
for you. Do you like that I whisper like we're on a golf course?
Yeah.
I don't know if they really do that. I saw it on a movie once. That movie was Happy Gilmore. This is how we play. Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center? Brought to you by TimeForRehab.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of bettercreditcards.com, and I think this is really good news. Here's the headline. The 100-year-old who beat COVID-19 sees family for the first time in a year. Family members surprise a 100-year-old great-grandmother with an in-person birthday celebration. It's the first time they've been able to get close to her, give her hugs, give her kisses, any of that since the pandemic started. And her name is Irma Privet. She lives in North Carolina. Because of the decline in COVID-19 cases in the state, the nursing homes are now meeting criteria for indoor visitations. It's been over a year since we've been able to see Grandma, said the granddaughter, Michelle Ezel. Earlier, we could see her through the windows, but that's just not the same. Says, I just wanted to bust out and cry, Irma said. I haven't seen them in ages. About a dozen family members gathered at the nursing home on her birthday, which happened to fall on St. Patrick's Day. So if you watch the video online, you'll see several of them dressed in green and wearing their little leprechaun outfits.
This whole scenario just breaks my heart
It
that
does.
we're even doing this to these elderly people to begin with.
It's really difficult. Yeah, it's really, really difficult. And for those of you who have loved ones that you have not been able to see, you know, even if you can't see them in person, you can certainly reach out and talk over the phone. And, you know, there's some things you can do. And I'm really glad for this family that they were able to be there for her birthday, 100 years young.
Wow.
On St. Patrick's Day. So, you know, a couple weeks ago now. I think that's pretty cool. It's a neat story. It is cool. I've got a link to the story in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend.